On February 11, 2010, a truck driver was driving through the Greensburg, Pennsylvania area. Even though the empty streets on that chilly morning were perfect for a fast delivery, his eyes caught the attention of something unusual. Stopping by the Greensburg-Salem Middle School, the driver noticed a suspiciously tipped-over trash can. While it would have been easier to just mind his business and drive past, curiosity got the better of the man, and he stumbled upon something terrifying. Inside the trash can was a badly mangled and bloody corpse of a woman. While he couldn't make sense of what he was seeing, he immediately dialed 911, and the police rushed to the scene to inspect the remains of what seemed like a nightmarish act. On their arrival, the cops saw the body haphazardly stuffed into the dumpster with several knife stab wounds. Besides, they shockingly discovered that the woman had several bruises on her, indicating she was badly beaten by her attacker before they had killed her. The corpse also looked mysteriously out of place in a dumpster outside a middle school, suggesting that it was not the site of the murder, but the site of disposal. While searching the battered body of the woman, the police found a note in the back pocket of her pants. The condition of the body completely betrayed the contents of the note, and the only shred of truth it carried was the name of the unfortunate victim, Jennifer. What really happened to this woman? How horrifying were her final moments before she ended up getting killed in such a terrible manner? A little more scrutiny enabled the cops to track down the parents of the now deceased Jennifer Daugherty, who were then called in to identify her body. The parents, Richard and Denise Daugherty, were shocked out of their wits on seeing that their sweet daughter was taken away from them in such a vicious manner. They informed the police that Jennifer was 30 years old. However, her intellectual and psychological challenges had limited her mental age to that of a 12 to 14-year-old girl. Born on November 8, 1979 in Latrobe of Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania, Jennifer was a bright soul who had a very warm and welcoming vibe. While she got bullied by several kids in her school days because of her mental challenges, her personality allowed her to befriend several likable companions. On that fateful day, while talking to Jennifer's parents, the cops surprisingly came to learn that she was a resident of Mount Pleasant. This made them question what she was doing in Greensburg and who really took her life. The Daughertys told the police that their girl regularly visited Greensburg for her medical appointments. She was also taking life skill lessons at the West Place Clubhouse in Greensburg, which also involved getting trained to become a mechanic. This time, however, she had arrived in the city to meet a new group of friends for a sleepover. Jennifer had met this group of 6 people via Angela Marinucci, whom she bumped into while taking her lessons at the West Place Clubhouse. Both girls hit it off very well, and Angela introduced Jennifer to her friends, Ricky Smyrns, Melvin Knight, Amber Mettinger, Robert Masters, and Peggy Miller. While Jennifer had been battling with mental challenges, surprisingly she wasn't alone anymore. Everyone in the new gang of friends had their own cognitive challenges, and so they stuck close to each other. Many of them had developed these issues because of bad childhoods, trampled with negative experiences. Such relatable issues helped Jennifer to quickly bond with the group and be happy in the company of others like her, who were also trying to live despite their psychological struggles. Jennifer's parents showed complete trust in this new group of friends since they had observed that their daughter was very happy with them. Before going out on February 10, 2010, Jennifer had left a note for her mother, saying that she would be back home after the sleepover by the next day afternoon. In fact, she even mentioned the contact details of all 6 friends to reach out to in case of any unforeseen emergencies. Sadly, these words turned out to be her last bits of communication with her parents and the first lead in the investigation of her murder. According to the Daughertys, something must have happened after the time Jennifer got off the bus, so as to reach the house where the fun getaway was planned. The police decided to meet this group in good faith and ask if they knew anything about this gruesome murder. But little did they know that they would discover something completely sinister and unbelievable. From the outside, the house where Jennifer was supposed to meet her friends seemed rather dull and ordinary. It still had some lights on its exterior, suggesting that the Christmas decorations hadn't been taken off. But when the cops walked in through the door, they discovered that the house, which adorned a semi-festive look, was plagued with the stench of gore and blood. The house occupied by Jennifer's friends turned out to be the crime scene where she was badly beaten and killed, with almost every corner of the house reeking of the grim nature of the incident. The cops apprehended all 6 in the group, who didn't try very hard to deny what had happened in the face of all the glaring evidence in the house. While just a glimpse of Jennifer's body screamed torture, The evidence found in the house of the Greensburg Six confirmed that she was badly humiliated before being killed. In the house, the police found all the objects that were used to hurt the helpless Jennifer, along with the murder weapon, which was a kitchen knife that eventually ended her final breath. The cops relentlessly questioned everyone and asked them what happened during the night of the sleepover on February 10, 2010. The statements from the Greensburg Six revealed that the sleepover was just a trap for Jennifer and that her punishment was pre-planned instead of being something accidental. They also learned that the mastermind behind this heinous crime was none other than the youngest of them all, Angela Marinucci, who was also Jennifer's close friend. Just when Jennifer crossed their doorstep, the group put their plans into action, and they suddenly began hitting her. Jennifer was quite confused at the time, since this wasn't the welcome she was expecting. Why did this new group of friends she had trusted so much suddenly turn hostile? What sick intentions might have motivated these 6 people to mercilessly hurt a mentally challenged friend and eventually take her life? Jennifer's phone and purse were immediately confiscated by the group, who began their grueling torture session that would go on for 36 long hours. They tore her purse and poured several fluids into it. Angela and Amber initiated the physical assault and beat Jennifer up with several objects. They took turns as they bruised her with several items, including a sturdy pair of crutches, a vacuum cleaner hose, a towel bar, and a 2-liter lemonade bottle. The duo was later joined by the others, who kicked Jennifer repeatedly, crushing her belly and her chest. The badly bruised Jennifer was also forced to gulp down several undrinkable fluids like cooking oil, nail polish, detergent, urine, and even made to eat cheese. All of these were poured onto her head, followed by oatmeal and spices. Jennifer retaliated against the assaults as she tried to throw her limbs around to attack her assailants. Unfortunately, Jennifer ended up choosing the wrong target by hitting Amber hard in the stomach. The group said that Amber was pregnant and escalated their assault on Jennifer after tying her with Christmas lights and decorations to prevent her from standing up to them again. The group shaved Jennifer's head and smeared her face with nail polish while continuing to thrash her. Unable to fight, Jennifer tried begging her attackers for mercy. The group neither stopped nor explained while she became the victim of their sadism. Instead, Melvin Knight took off Jennifer's clothes and forced himself on the heavily bruised victim, while everyone else watched. After Melvin was done, they forced Jennifer into the bathroom to have a shower, citing the trouble they were having with her stench. While Jennifer thought that her captors were done with her, you would discover next that she couldn't have been more wrong. The thrashing instantly resumed, and Jennifer's mini illusion was instantly shattered. But things did come to a stop afterwards, since the Greensburg Six got bored of constantly beating Jennifer to a pulp. The group then decided to vote to either let Jennifer go on the expectation that she would remain quiet, or to kill her and get rid of her body. Jennifer begged her supposed friends to set her free, but the next morning, February 11th, she learned that all 6 had unanimously voted to end her life. Before killing her, the group somehow thought that making Jennifer write a note would shield them whenever her body was found. For reasons unknown, the group made Jennifer take several antibiotics, painkillers, and sleeping pills before Ricky Smirms asked Melvin to stab her in the chest. This could either be due to an unexpected return of their conscience or an attempt to prolong Jennifer's suffering using medicines. The latter stands more probable, since they didn't spare the life of the already tortured Jennifer. Thus, any consideration of the Greensburg Six's empathy towards their unfortunate victim was completely out of the question. Instead, Melvin plunged the knife into Jennifer's body thrice, striking her chest and her throat. He later checked on her to find that she was still alive and slashed her wrist to end Jennifer's life. The group didn't immediately dispose of Jennifer's body. Angela Marinucci asked the group to prop the dead body up and wrap it in Christmas lighting to get a dazzling display of their monstrosity. But when the damaged Christmas lights didn't work, the frustrated group stuffed her body in a trash can, where it was eventually found. All of this clearly showcased that none of the 6 had any form of remorse over their actions. But what really made them carry out this torture-cum-murder? After learning of such a horrifying account, cops cracked down hard on everyone to find out why they made Jennifer suffer so much. The Greensburg Six revealed that Jennifer had developed a crush on Ricky, who was Angela's boyfriend at the time. Moreover, Angela once caught Ricky secretly speaking with Jennifer over the phone. This made her furious with jealousy, following which she decided to punish her new friend for crossing the line and hatched a plan with Amber. Cops found that this flow of romance wasn't one way, as Ricky later revealed that he loved Jennifer as well. Both had confessed their love to each other and had also been intimate on a few occasions behind Angela's back. This really made the detectives think as to why Ricky participated or even approved of whatever happened with Jennifer. Especially, he could have avoided everything by simply warning Jennifer and asking her not to come for the sleepover. The confession from the other members of the Greensburg Six, especially Peggy Miller and Robert Masters, revealed that Angela was a very dangerous woman and they were very afraid of her. Peggy and Robert also said they didn't participate in any of the violence and were willing to cooperate with the police and get a plea deal in court. However, the fear analogy didn't stand true for everyone, especially Melvin Knight, who seemed to have enjoyed torturing and assaulting Jennifer the most. Nevertheless, when things came down to the point for each member to vote, none of them voted to let Jennifer live, despite already having made her go through a hellish nightmare. However, the police now had what they needed to get justice for Jennifer Daugherty. The hearing for the case began on November 3, 2010, revealing that Angela, Ricky, and Jennifer had a very complex love triangle, with Ricky being at the center of it all. Angela had actually overheard Ricky speaking with Jennifer when she had heard him saying that he loved her and wanted to marry her. This made Angela fume with rage since she had been his girlfriend for several years. The state of Pennsylvania had never seen a heinous and violent crime of this degree. On August 3, 2011, when giving the verdict, the court found the charges against Angela serious enough for death penalty. But since she was only 17 at the time of the incident, she ended up receiving life imprisonment without parole for first-degree murder, kidnapping, and conspiracy to commit murder. Due to certain unrelated developments, her sentence saw some revisions, with the final order coming in May 2022. Angela is now undergoing her sentence and would be eligible for parole only in 2070. Ricky Smyrns and Melvin Knight, however, received the death penalty on February 28, 2013 and April 12, 2012, respectively. Knight later challenged his sentence in September 2014, stating that the jury was prejudiced towards him, but the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania upheld his sentence twice. Speaking about her judgment on Knight, Pennsylvania Supreme Court's Chief Justice Deborah Todd said that the jury was not biased in its judgment to give the death penalty to Melvin Knight. She instead noted that the decision was made after a thorough examination of a large pool of evidence, which proved Knight and the rest of the Greensburg Six having subjected Jennifer, a mentally challenged woman, to several forms of assault and torture, eventually killing her.
Then Ricky went and got a knife and told me to stab her.
And what did you do?
I hesitated for a little bit, and then I stabbed her. And Ricky can be a very intimidating, scary dude when his temper gets the best of him.
Amber Menninger pled guilty to third-degree murder, conspiracy, and kidnapping, though she had initially tried to get some relief, citing her pregnancy. Once she found out she could be facing the death penalty, she chose to cooperate as a witness and received a sentence of 40 to 80 years in prison on December 4, 2013. Prior to the trial, Peggy Miller and Robert Masters had already agreed to testify as witnesses. During the trial, Robert revealed that he had almost helped Jennifer in escaping and also returned her clothes, while Melvin and Ricky were outside the house, but they returned before Jennifer could flee from the place. The court, however, noted that neither Peggy nor Roberts chose to inform the police of what happened and only came forward as witnesses to get plea deals. Although they didn't participate in any of the violence, they did help in keeping Jennifer hostage and also voted to kill her. Peggy received a sentence of 35 to 74 years, and Robert got a sentence of 30 to 70 years on March 17, 2014. The accounts of Peggy and Roberts also ushered in the need for a law in Pennsylvania to charge anybody witnessing a violent crime and withholding the information from the police with third-degree murder. This law was proposed by Senator Kim Ward in 2012, and he tabled the proposal as Jennifer's Law. Speaking at the trial of the murderers of her sister, Joy Buckholder said, "Jennifer was exploited. Her kindness and her handicap made her very vulnerable. She did not have a single mean bone in her body. Jennifer's family also took the blame of their beloved's murder on themselves, since they thought they shouldn't have left Jennifer alone, despite knowing that she needed the love, help, and support of someone close at almost all times. The horrifying and gruesome end of Jennifer Daugherty really shook one and all concerned from within. Jennifer's parents were especially devastated to know that their daughter was tortured, assaulted, murdered, and hoisted as a trophy in cold blood. To add to their grief, she was killed by the very people she trusted and someone whom she had fallen in love with. The Daughertys had been thinking of getting Jennifer a place of her own in Greensburg, where she could live more independently, with a network of reliable friends by her side. While the sleepover was a litmus test for such hopes of independence and companionship, the end result turned bloody red. The murder of Jennifer Daugherty is still noted as one of the most horrifying true crime stories out there. Notably, evidence draws a loose correlation between killers and the mental issues they face. But do you think that the Greensburg Six did what they did because of their mental challenges, or were they capable of this cold-blooded torture-cum murder all along?